Well, Ted Cruz and John Kasich teaming up to take down Donald Trump. So how would a Cruz-Kasich ticket change the race, or could it? Our political panel here now to weigh in, contributor for the Washington Examiner and president of High Noon Strategies, Lisa Boothe, and Ohio State Senator and former Ohio Senate Minority Leader, Capri Cafaro. Thank you both for joining us early this morning.
Good morning, Heather.
Absolutely. Good morning.
So first of all, let's talk about the Cruz and Kasich team. You know, they're teaming up. They want to take out Donald Trump. How will that work for them? Lisa, we'll start with you.
Well, it's certainly interesting because most candidates don't go to the level of this openness with this sort of deal that they have struck. But the big test is going to be Indiana. And look, if Donald Trump is up right now in the latest Fox News poll by 8 in Indiana. There's another poll that also has Donald Trump up in the state of Indiana. So that's going to be the big test. And really, if Donald Trump carries Indiana, I think this alliance is going to be completely blown up. It's going to be every man for themselves. Because let's face it, politicians are self-interested. And, you know, I don't necessarily know if they really have any desire to be on a ticket together, per se. Yeah. So I think if this implodes in Indiana, then it's over.
It's really, you have to question, you know, are they doing it for the voters, or are they doing it just to stop Trump? Capri?
I mean, I think that they're doing it to stop Trump. I think they're doing it, you know, conceivably maybe for the Republican Party. And I think they're doing it because it's the only real way that they have to stop Trump from getting to 1237. They need a brokered convention to have any shot at, you know, getting the nomination on a second ballot, playing, for example, with the, you know, the unpledged delegates that we're going to see today come out of a place like Pennsylvania. And so if they don't, you know, join forces, they're not going to have an opportunity to get to a brokered convention. Without that, I mean, they're mathematically incapable of getting to 1237 no matter what, so they have to find a way to do whatever they can to get themselves to an open convention.
And today may not be the day to do it, because looking at the polls, all five states, you've got Trump and Clinton in the lead. So the general election...
And some winner-take-all states, too, on the Republican side.
So is it inevitable, Capri, that it's going to be Clinton and Trump? What do you think?
Well, I think it's inevitable at this point. Sorry for the folks that feel the burn, that, you know, Hillary, you know, is at the point where, you know, she's going to be she's the presumptive nominee on the Democratic side. I think Bernie's not going to get out. I think he's going to stay till California, but I think she's going to be the nominee. And I think, you know, with Trump, I think more likely than not he will be the nominee, but I think that you're going to see both Cruz and Kasich, my governor, hang on to the bitter end, hoping for some kind of miracle, you know, coming into Cleveland this July.
And Lisa, I want you to comment on that, and also these two polls that we can take a look at. The USA Today poll has Trump at 39% and Clinton at 50%. But then there's another poll that shows a difference of just 3%. That's the George Washington University poll. Trump with 43 and Clinton with 46. That is the closest that we've seen.
Well, and the problem with Donald Trump, or at least the big question about him, is his electability in a general election. And that's why Governor John Kasich, despite only winning one state, has continued to stay in, because that's the question that he has raised about Donald Trump. Now, there's a lot of time between now and November, so who really knows what that head-to-head matchup is ultimately going to look like. But tonight for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, for Hillary Clinton, there's a possibility of her to obtain 90% of the delegates she needs to be the presumptive nominee. So I think that's pretty baked in on the left. If you look at the right, it's a little less certain. Donald Trump is going to try to give the air of inevitability after tonight. He's leading in double digits in all 5 states, all 5 contests that we're going to see tonight. So he's going to really hope to head into Indiana, plant the flag, say, I'm the presumptive nominee. This is over, and, you know, try to carry that into the state of Indiana. So we'll see. He's going to hope for he's going to hope to have really big wins tonight, which very well could happen.
A very important night. So if it does end up being Clinton and Trump, the two front runners, both of them have very high negatives. We talked about that before, but that makes their vice presidential picks even more important. You know, maybe that could swing their likability. So Lisa, who's your pick? Who would you pick to be Trump's VP picks?
Well, I think he needs someone that's going to soften his image. He's very blunt. He's very direct. He says it how it is, which is part of his allure. That being said, in a general election, you're going to have to reach more voters. So I think he's going to need someone who's going to soften that touch. Perhaps someone like Governor Nikki Haley or Susanna Martinez, a woman who's also...
Wow, Nikki Haley. Now, that would
right.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you have someone who's a minority who's also a woman. I think that could help him soften his image and maybe reach some more voters.
Yeah. All right. And Capri, your thoughts?
I feel the same way as Lisa. I mean, I think that, Trump needs to do two things. I think that he needs to bridge the gap for some of the folks that, have kind of maybe been turned off by some of his rhetoric through the primary process. So if he finds a woman who's also a minority, like Susana Martinez, who's also a governor, I think that could be helpful. Certainly, Marco Rubio could help him get the nomination if he chooses, Senator Rubio, somebody that could actually help him with delegates. And then, of course, I got to throw in, my governor, John Kasich. You can't win, particularly as a Republican. You can't get to the White House without going right through Ohio. Governor Kasich has both federal and state experience. He'd be a great pick.
All right. So we have to wrap it up there. Didn't get a chance to get to Clinton, but her VP pick's also important because of her negative likability ratings. Lisa Boothe and Capri Cafaro, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Heather.